Shalom. I'm going to give all honor and glory and praises to YAHAWASHI, BAHASHAM, QADASH, divine to the elders and apostles, great millstone, teaching me this truth of sincerity, salutations to the hopeful that this word that work on us. So the title of this is going to be, I don't want a nation of thinkers, I want a nation of workers. Okay, and this will be quoted by John D. Rockefeller. All right, I don't want a nation of thinkers, I want a nation of workers. Right, so, and, and this goes back to what? Um, Basically, we know that this is referring to what? Mainly you Israelites, okay? He don't want you Israelites to think, right? He don't want you Israelites to, go back to, worship, go back to your customs, go back to your identity, right? But this was, they say that he was the early education school system pioneer, right? It's like how your different school systems, your colleges, the different secondary, primary, high school, lower education, everything. He was, this was founded by John D. Rockefeller. He was like one of the pioneers, right? Of this, the general education program. Okay. And this what though this basically, he said I don't want a nation. He said I don't want a nation of thinkers. I want a nation of workers, right? Because when you have a nation of workers, the only thing they're doing, the only thing that they're worrying about is what serving you, okay? And serving you make you money, put more money in your pocket, right? Making your economy strong, right? So when you don't have a nation of thinkers, then no one is what? No one they're thinking the things that is being given to you, right? When I'm trying to say is basically a nation of thinkers, before we came to the truth, we were what? We were thinking that we were, our main focus was what? Trying to, um, have a, have a career, have a, meaning by have a career, basically like, our dream careers, just basically having the mindset of what our basically our the people who ruled over us were giving us right before Yahweh woke us up. Our whole mindset was just chasing whatever Wiki was given to us, right, and thinking and just having Wiki just programming us, right. So the Lord He broke us free, right. That's why you say this is why you say that you know um they you have people that so-called woke people say, being broken out of the matrix, right? Probably being broken out of the so-called probably being broken out of the matrix, right? Is you know, um, not thinking, um, being basically free, right? Being free of, being mental or being mentally free, okay? Not being mentally slave, basically, you know, being mentally free, um, and this what wiki and this what when John D. Rockefeller um he's a top wiki elite, right, Edomite ultimately, right. So this devil, right, and this all goes back what to Exodus 1, okay. Now I'm not gonna read the whole thing. I'm just gonna jot down, make a jot down to the point. um it says, okay, this was what when the Pharaoh, right, this was when the Israelite was in captivity in Egypt, okay, and America represent what? Spiritual Egypt, okay, spiritual Sodom, spiritual Egypt, okay. You can get that in Revelations. So, which I'm going to compare the two, right? Compare ancient Egypt to America and to America. Um, all right, so you had the children of Israel, okay, in Egypt, all right, and um, right when in Joseph, he was basically he was a pharaoh in Egypt when the children of Israel came to Egypt. Now this is why his brothers didn't recognize him, right? Him as a pharaoh, but he died in Egypt. All right, I'm gonna start from here. Exodus 1:7. It says, "And the children of Israel were fruitful, increased abundantly, and multiplied, and was exceeding mightily. Okay, and the lands will fill them." So the children of Israel, right, referring to Israel, the Judah, Yahweh, no, Judah, Issachar, okay, Zebulon, okay, so far and so on, Gad, etc., Asher, etc. Okay, so these was all the children of Israel that was in Egypt at the time, right? And they grew, they were fruitful, meaning they were, basically having a lot of, they were multiplying, they were having a lot of kids, etc. All right, and they were exceeding mighty, right? They were strong, etc. And the land was filled with them. Now there arose up a new king over Egypt, which knew not Joseph, which was referring to a Pharaoh, okay, a Pharaoh who didn't know that he didn't know Joseph, you know. Um, and he said unto his people, behold, the people of the children of Israel are more and mightier than we. Okay, so he basically said to his people, at the time, he said, this new Pharaoh, he said to the people that the children of Israel are more and mightier than we. Okay, you know, is referring to what they were mightier than them in intelligence, okay, and physically, okay, physically and intellectual. They were mightier than because well, our people, they were having they were building, they were having their own business, okay, in Egypt, you know, all right, just like etc. Just like in America, before, you know, these devils, start to destroy all of our all our so-called black-owned cities, towns, businesses, etc. People will flourish in America, flourishing, right? But we know for so much of the curses, it goes back to that we shouldn't everything that we put our hand to, it would not work in our favor, basically, you know. So that was basically put so much of the curses, okay. But in ancient Egypt, um, they were flourishing, okay. But and we see it says, "Come on, let us deal wisely with them. Lest they multiply and it comes to pass that when they're fought out any war, they join also into our enemies fighting against us, so get them up in our land." So here's the point. So this is the point, right? So come on, let us deal wisely with them, okay? Let us deal wisely with them, right? Remember, Pharaoh, he's a heathen, okay? In America is what? Spiritual Sodom, spiritual Egypt. All right, and John D. Rockefeller, he's a heathen. So, part of, the nation dealing wisely with the Israelites is them setting up these different, systems, programs, these education, these school systems to what? To, you know, keep us dumbed down, a dumbed down state, keep us, from basically, rising up against them, keep the nation, keep the whole nation of Israel in a complete dumbed down mindset, all right, in a complete um mindset, like basically walking like zombies, with no just having, being basically like being, like Muppets, and they're the Muppet Master, right? He's the Muppet Master, Muppet Master. That's what this base is going into, right? To be wise, to be or become wise, act wisely, okay, to show oneself wise, deceive, okay, right, okay, deal, okay, make wiser, okay, um, and right, and this is what they were, this is mindset, okay, you know, of John D. Rockefeller, right, mindset was to deal wisely with the children of Israel, okay, lest they multiply and it comes to pass that when they're fought out any war, okay, they join also into our enemies, okay, you know, because what the children of Israel, they were fruitful, they were increasing, they were mighty, okay, they were physically strong, etc. Okay, they were, they referring to their intellect, but they were physically strong, right? Our people was great, okay, you know, and fight against us, and so get them up out of the land. Therefore, they did set over them taskmasters, okay, to afflict them with their burden is to go back to what? Your taskmasters go back to what? Your modern day, this modern day, your employers, okay? Your employers, okay? Um, you know, um, and this goes back to what this quote, I don't want a nation of thinker, I want a nation of workers, right? And them and what they're basically what the school system it was about, right? It was just about, you know, um, getting, us prep basically for the workforce, right? We had to what? We had to walk in straight lines. Okay, we had to basically, you know, um, you know, basically we had to think, right? The way we thought was always towards, um, basically, um, it's like, yeah. So we had to think, the way we thought, was always, it's like, I don't know why I can't find it, right? You brothers, you brothers get what trying to get where I'm going to, right? So we had, we had we had to walk in, we had to walk in single file lines. So basically, we were, they were prepping us like we were on the assembly, like assembling, something, right? You know, um, we had to know the teacher were like our bosses, right? You know, um, etc. Okay, you um, but yeah, and that was basically, you know, the whole plan, right? To have everyone in order, have everyone programmed, like have everyone just programmed like bots, you know. That was basically them dealing wisely with us, okay. So when you that word taskmaster up, you mean a gang or body of forced laborers, okay, you know, um, labor band, labor gang, slave gang, right? Forced service, etc. Okay, and forced payment. All right. This is our scripture said that person to what I think is brute, that um you should be subject to payments, okay, you know. So and this go back to your modern day employers, okay, you know, and the word employee go back to the word slave, right? I believe that word employer go back to, if I'm not mistaken, it can go back to the word slave master, So all the different, so everything that was, this is why I said that this is why there's nothing new under the sun, right? You know, everything that's going back in the ancient world is still going on here, okay? It's just on a more modern level, okay? You know, because what in this, in this modern world, we have the ability to, you know, through the grace of the Lord, Yabashasha, you know, you know, um, waking us up, well, not, yeah, using our, basically using our, using those, those elders above, before us, right? Starting with Elder Abba Bivens, you know, waking him up, right? And you know, teaching, right? You know, and from here it trickled on down to the elders apostle, you know, Shar and etc. That we're able to understand and get this word right and understand why we're going through this thing that we're going through, right? Able to what worship our power, Yabashasha. Okay. The scripture says that I will set up teachers who will teach you with um truth, basically. And I think that's in Jeremiah. That will set up pastors that will teach you, okay, teach us the correct thing, right? Which is what we're starting with our biblical and those. they'll basically they'll pastor, basically they was, they were set up to, lead us back to the Lord ultimately. Okay, those, because we were what we were considered lost sheep. Okay, you know, um, so yeah, so therefore they did send over them taskmasters to fit them with their burdens, right? Because basically putting them to work, just like they're doing right now. Okay, you know, you know, basically, Mondays, through Fridays. Okay, you know, and sometimes even Saturday. You know, depending on your, your job. Okay, your career ultimately. You know, so um, yeah, so ultimately, because what ultimately this was to the point they were trying to fulfill was to keep us in that um, mindset of just oppression. Okay, you know oppression, oppression, oppression. Okay, you know and they built for Pharaoh treasury cities, Pithom and Ramesses, right? These are the cities that the Israelites built, right? Okay, but the more they afflicted them, the more they multiplied and grew, right? Because what the Lord said that Israel should be as the sand of the sea. Okay, so yeah, you know, um, because what they're the goal they were trying to the goal the reason why they were trying to the reason why they were trying to press the nation of Israel like this was to mainly trying to basically kill them ultimately, right? To basically delete them. Okay, because there's such thing as being overworked, and you're down from that, right? This is what they were trying to accomplish, right? Trying to overwork, the children of Israel so that what they can go down in numbers, okay? But the more they did, they would work to them, the more they were applying, the much more they multiplied and grew, right? And they were greedy because of the children of Israel, and it just to make the children of Israel to serve with rigor, okay? And then they made their lives bitter with hard bondage and mortar and brick and all manner of service in the field, okay? Just like now, right? You know, this is why Americans call spiritual Sodom spiritual Egypt, right? Because we this is what uh, we're where the same thing has been repeated, right? We were a slave in the ancient Egypt. Now we're a slave in this modern Egypt. Okay, and this modern Egypt actually have a pyramid on the dollar bill. Okay, you know if you look at it, and what ancient Egypt was known for its pyramids. Okay, so um, yeah, so and there was some you can there's some more things you can go deeper into as well, you know. So and break and all men of service in the field, all their service wherein they made them serve was rigor. Okay, so anything that our people, every job that they did was rigor. Okay, you know, it wasn't hard. I mean, it wasn't easy, right? So and what our people wasn't ultimately, they wasn't thinking, right? They know they wasn't serving the Lord at the time. No, they wasn't. They probably didn't have time to um have feast days. Okay, serve the Lord, Yahweh. Okay, because what the only thing they were doing was working, right? This goes back to what I don't want a nation of thinkers, I want a nation of workers, right? Which is ultimately, this why this ultimately what this pharaoh was going into, this ancient pharaoh, right? In this right, this basically what his goal was, to have the nation of Israel to not think, okay, to not have them even think about, overtaking them, to not have them think about, trying to be smarter than us, okay, um, to be, to not, they just wanted the nation of Israel to work, to work, okay. And it says, as they made their lives better, forces them to mix mortar and make bricks and do all the work in the fields. They were ruthless in all their demands. Okay. Yeah. So, um, let me get here in Psalms 2. Okay. Because these are what? The wicked devices of the um, heathen, right? Psalms 2 and 1, it says, the reign of the Lord's anointed. It said, why do the heathen rage and the people imagine vain things? That's really going to what we could ENWO, okay? We could ENWO, but this also goes back to what John D. Rockefeller, him saying what? I don't want a nation of thinkers, I want a nation of workers. Okay, that's the heathen raging. Okay, they rage, right? They were rage up. Because what is, that's of the NWO, the NWO, what we're going to it. John D. Rockefeller saying, "I don't want a nation thinker, I want a nation worker." You're referring to basically going back to the NWO, okay? Because the NWO is to what? Is to have all these people that like one government tell them to do, okay? And there's no other, there's no buts in or there's no in buts um about it, right? You know, you can't, there's no freedom of speech in that NWO, okay? So to conspire, right, to plot, okay? To conspire to plot, mainly against what? The Israelites, okay? So I'm gonna go back here. The kings of the earth set themselves and the rulers take counsel together against the Lord YAHAWASHI, against the anointed, saying this is referring to what? The Israelites, you know. So they take counsels together, right, against the Lord YAHAWASHI, against the anointed, right? And that goes by what? To Exodus 1, okay? They'll deal wisely against them, right? You know. word council up. Till we found it right. Okay. Um, take counsel right. It is what the gender. This is what the I don't want a nation of workers. I don't want a nation thinking. I want a nation right. The general education school program. It basically taking counsel against know the anointed right. The children is the Israelites right. You know um right because because if you have it was supposed to keep our people in a dumbed down state mind state or mindset to think, only the thing that wicked evil is feeding them, right? This is why you have your TV programs, right? Program, right? Television, right? Television, right? It was to keep our people, um, only thinking, it was basically, everything they put on their TVs, right? You know, um, was to program our people, right? The different TV shows was program our people, and they put some wicked, filthy stuff on their different TVs, on their shows, right? Promote their agenda, right? Okay, so um, let us break. Psalms 2 and 3 says, "Let us break their bands asunder and cast away their cords from us." Okay, you know, so we let our bands, break their bands asunder. Um, we go into it. Here, bond right. Okay, chastisement. Okay, because ultimately it was to what? It was to keep us away from our identity. Right? It was to keep us away, from us, thinking, from us knowing, from us going back to our power. Okay, you know, so them taking counts together was to ultimately, keep us away from, you know, going back to our power, right? YAHAWASHI, knowing the name, knowing who that we're Israelites, right? Etc. Okay. In the sense that let us break their chains, they cry, and free ourselves from slavery to the Most High. Okay. Um, let me see. Is this? Um, yeah. So, pressure is what this is going to. If I'm wrong, correct me. You brothers and watching. Um, so he that sitteth in heaven shall laugh; the Lord shall have them in derision. Right? You know, the Lord shall have them in derision. Okay. Because what you can't basically they're going back to them being a confused mindset, right? You know, them being a confused mindset, right? So and as they said, but the one who rules in heaven now, the Lord scoffs at them. All right. Okay. So yeah. So And right now, they're in derision, right? Because what we're rising back up, to know who we are. Okay, the elect is being woken and being sealed. Okay, get here in a second. Address 8:21. 1 second. Address 8:21. Let me see. It's like Ezra 8:27 is what I wanted. It says, it reads, second Ezra 8:27 says, regard not the wicked inventions of the heathen, but the desire of those that keep thy testimonies and afflictions. Right. So the wicked inventions of the heathen, right? You know, I'm going to that word. It is what, the wicked inventions of the heathen is ultimately to what? It all to basically use against the Lord's chosen, okay, which are referring to Israelites, all right? Invention. It says the action of inventing something, typically a process or a device, all right? In that general education school, program was a invention, okay? It was a device. It's a device being used, okay? Against the Lord's people, okay? Mainly, okay? It was said in 1903, right? So ultimately, and this was, and we know that through the power and spirit of the Lord, um, there's no weapon that's formed against, basically, the Lord, the elect that would not prosper. So, there's the reason why there's a remnant. They will return to the Lord. Okay. So what these were weapons. Okay. His general education, his schools system are weapons against the Lord's anointed, right? Against the Israelites. Because this law says, regard not the wicked inventions of the heathen. Okay. But the desire of those that keep, thy testimony in afflictions, right? So, because ultimately we know that the Lord, He's gonna, He'll make a way to escape at the end of the day. Psalms 33:10. Psalms 33:10. It says, the Lord YAHAWASHI shall bring the counsel of the heathen to naught. He makes the devices of the people of none effect. Okay? The Lord YAHAWASHI shall bring the counsel of the heathen to naught, which means to nothing. Right? Because what? Even though John D. Rockefeller said what he said, I don't want a nation of thinkers, I want a nation of believers. I want a nation of workers. Ultimately, and though, it basically, it didn't, accomplish, he was able to, 2/3 got affected by that, by his school programs. But what? The elect ultimately is not getting affected, right? Because, you have the nation of Israel, you have some you have Israelites waking up, okay, to know who they are, to know their identity, right? To know who they are, to basically going back to worship their power, YAHAWASHI, okay? So ultimately, that's what the Lord bringing the counsel of the heathen to naught, okay? To nothing, okay? He making the devices of the people none effect, okay? So yeah, ultimately he's gonna completely bring his counsels to naught, which will go back to he's also his NWO when he comes back, right? And destroy him, destroy Wiki, okay? Destroy his government, destroy his kingdom, right? So I'm gonna close it out here in Psalms 10:1. Said I pray for the overthrow of the wicked. Psalms 10:1 says, while standest thou afar off, O Lord, why hidest thou thyself in times of trouble? The wicked in his pride does persecute the poor, which is referring to what? You Israelites. Okay? We're considered poor. The wicked in his pride. Okay? This was a proud statement that was made by John D. Rockefeller. I don't want a nation of thinkers, I want a nation of workers. Right? I. That's pride. Okay? You know? So his pride does persecute the poor, okay, and this is what basically going back to what his different laborers, okay, his jobs, okay, his school program was ultimately to persecute the poor, persecute you Israelites, okay. Slavery, for example, let them be taken in the devices that they have imagined, right, and they're being taken in the devices that they have imagined, but ultimately their school system didn't do nothing but, you know, um, basically expose themselves, right, you know, and um and basically it didn't um we were wait we were you know through the power and spirit of the Lord, we were even though he settled his systems to keep us in a down state, we were still able to what we were still able to you know because we were still able to the spirit of the Lord Yahawashi, be woken up, okay, to the deceptions, okay, that were told to us, right? The lies that were told to us, okay, we're able to come back to our true heritage, okay, we're repenting, okay. For the wicked boasters of his heart is desire and bless the covet whom the Lord Yahawashi boarded, okay. The wicked through the pride of the countenance will not seek after the Most High. The Most High is not in all his thoughts, right? Okay, the devils, they don't seek after the Lord, okay, and we also go back to you two-thirds Israelites, right? It says his ways are always grievous, thy judgments are far above all his sight. Right. The ways, their ways are always grievous, okay, It says we that were grievous is something bad, very severe or serious, okay? His ways are always grievous. His ways are always bad, okay? His going back to what his NWOs, okay? His different amendments, etc. Okay, there's look at the bill they're trying to pass, right? You know, the bill that they're passing, okay? The list goes on. Okay, you see this stuff for yourself. Thy judgments are far above our sight. As for all his enemies, he puffed it at them. Okay. I'm gonna jump down to her. Psalms 10:7 says his mouth is full of cursing and deceit and fraud. Okay. Under his tongue is mischief and vanity. Okay. And this is shown And this is an example, right? I don't want a nation of thinker. I want a nation of worker. John D. Rockefeller. Okay, his mouth is full of cursing and deceit and fraud. Okay, under his tongue is mischief and vanity. All right, because what he says, I want a nation of worker. What for more for to boost up his economy, to boost up his to put more money in his pocket, right? You know, to not basically to you know keep us in a dumbed down mind state, right? To keep us like zombies, right? To program us, to keep us like robots, right? So but through the power of spirit, Yabashasha, there's a elect, right? There's the Lord shows His mercies, right? You know, so on his chosen nation, Israelites, right? Mainly the remnant of Israel, right? The less, okay? They were able to what? Come back. Were able to come back to our power, right? Come back to receive His name, okay? And call on His names. So I'm gonna close there, okay? Because I think I hit the point. Um, and give all praises to Yahweh, Bashar, Shabbat, Shem, QADASH. The next time, say Shalom.